Hi, it's Jennifer from Shabby Fabrics. This is the final section of our applique tutorial where now we will actually secure the applique pieces down to the background fabric. Here again you have some choices. I've glued the applique pieces to the background with a temporary basting glue, so they're secure. At this point you could either use an invisible thread or a coordinating thread in beautiful teals and then in these lighter blues, teals, and you could stitch that down by machine, or you could stitch that down by hand. Now, so far the applique process has been pretty quiet. It really has not involved our sewing machine. And there's a certain amount of joy that I get from that, of just being quiet about my sewing. And what I like about actually securing the applique pieces down by hand is it's portable. I don't have to be at my sewing machine. If my husband wants me to come watch a movie with him, or my kids have a baseball game, I can take that with me, or we have a long car trip. So I hope you won't rule out the hand sewing, because it does have a neat quality about it. And of course, that's where quilting came from, long before they even had sewing machines. So I want to show you the technique that I use, and that is silk thread. This particular brand of silk thread is from Superior Threads. It's kimono silk thread. There's 200 meters on one spool. That's a lot of thread. So this will last you probably your lifetime. And it comes in 80 beautiful colors. I mean, they're gorgeous. So I picked this really pretty teal to match the mitten and the cuff. And then I picked this lighter teal to coordinate with the zigzag. Now, the reality is that the neutral colorway, which is included in your applique kit, could work for everything, but to have it just so, you may want to use the coordinating colors. So I typically get a length about the distance from my shoulder to my hand. If it's any longer than that, it can tend to get tangled up. If it's a lot shorter than that, you'll just be frequently changing. So that seems to be a good length for me. In your applique kit, you have a little bottle of straw needles, and I think there's about 15 needles in here, 16 actually. So this is going to last you a long time. So you'll thread your needle, and you'll just tie a simple knot at the end, and then you'll just begin. We'll start with this mitten over here. Now I like to, I could start here, but then I'd have to start here, stop, and then come over here again. So it makes sense to me. I'm going to probably go around the cuff, come back around, and then go down. So you can kind of plan where you want to start. So always coordinate your thread, by the way, with the color of the applique pieces. I've been asked this question before. Do I choose thread based on the background color, or do I choose thread based on the applique pieces? You want to choose your thread based on the color of the applique pieces. So we'll come up just inside that edge of the cuff. And we'll come down. Now you can scoop right back up a short distance away. You have two choices. You could either just come straight down and then come back up, about 1/8 of an inch away. You can also try this method, which is kind of almost a scoop. It can tend to bend the needles slightly. So just know, if you do use that method, you might be going through needles more frequently. And look how that thread literally just melts away. You can't even see it. Even when I try to see it, it's just gone. That's the beauty of the silk thread. Now, when I first started appliquing, I didn't have kimono silk thread. I didn't have any silk thread. I was using embroidery floss. I'm embarrassed to say that because I thought thread's thread. And it was like using dental floss. It really showed, and it just does not work. So if you're tempted to do that, I really want to discourage you from doing that. think about the work you've just done preparing these applique pieces. You don't want to, at the very end, take that shortcut because I don't think it'll yield the result you want. The silk thread is worth it. And again, once you get those colors, 200 meters is going to last you your lifetime for sure. And you just continue this way all the way around your shape. So again, you can kind of do this rock and pivot out the way I'm doing, or if that's uncomfortable or bothers your hand, just go straight down and then come back up and then just straight back down. Now to tie off, of course I wouldn't tie off right now because I have this whole distance to go, but just so I can show you how to tie off, I just go shallow into the fabric because I don't want the knot to end up on the front or that thread. So I just go very shallow. So I'm really only catching the background, but not the top applique fabric. Just getting just a bit of it. I make a little bit of a loop, catch my needle, and I do that at least 2 or 3 times. So we'll do it again. And I think that's really secure. And then we just trim. And I don't trim right up to it. Just give it a little bit of a tail, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And then let's see what we've done. You cannot tell that there's really any thread there at all. That's the beauty of the kimono silk thread. So I so strongly recommend that. And again, if you decide to do this by machine, there's nothing wrong with that. Plenty of the quilts that we do here for Quilt Market, for example, I don't have time to do the hand sewing. And so we do that by machine using an invisible thread and a very narrow zigzag. So you're just inside the edge, back onto the background fabric. Just inside the edge, back on the background fabric. You may want to coordinate your bobbin thread to coordinate with your applique fabric, that same color. So that's how we finish our blocks, and then of course once that's done, they get sewn together. Now there are problem areas with applique that people, pitfalls, peaks and valleys, and other areas that are a little bit challenging. Join me for that video where I deal with those problem areas so that if you are finding some struggles with those more challenging parts of applique, I can help you through that. So thanks for joining us in this applique tutorial series.